everyone! Welcome to Artsonia's After School Art Club. Today, we have a fun art project from Janine Campbell, an art teacher from Michigan. Hope you enjoy the video and don't forget to have your artwork uploaded to your Artsonia gallery.
Hello, Janine Campbell from West Michigan here. I'm looking forward to sharing with you today how to use puffy paint, a Ziploc bag, a magazine image, and some paper to create a print with pastels to get an added overall effect using warm and cool colors. This is an unconventional way of doing printmaking, and so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you and seeing really how you adapt it and make it your own. So let's get started. To start, you're going to need a cutout magazine image inside of a Ziploc baggie. Once you have that laid out, the next thing that you're going to do is get a puffy paint color of your choice. I chose red, and you're going to outline the contour shapes of the figure. I would recommend when you are creating your figure from the magazine, when you're deciding which one it is that you want to use, pick somebody with a dynamic pose. That's what really drew me to this image. And you could do this not just with a figure, you could also pick a still life or a portrait. It's really up to you. The thing that's nice about using the puffy paint on the plastic bag is that it is very forgiving. If you make a mistake, you can easily take a wet paper towel and just wipe it away. So thankfully for me, I like the lines that I've made. Part of the reason is that I'm keeping them really simple. I'm not trying to get every single little detail. I'm just looking at the overall outline of the shape. Once I've done that, it's now time for me to create a print. Now I'm going to show you a couple versions. The first one is I take my paper and I press it down all of the way. Now when I press it down all of the way, it's fully smushing the entire puffy paint, and you'll see what happens when I get that. I don't really see the form anymore. I really press down too hard, and so I've got sort of an interesting shape, but it's not really what I'm looking for, so I might have to just save that for later. I can wipe off my Ziploc bag so I can try again, and now I'm going to do it a little bit lighter. The problem with this one is I'm going to just slightly tap it, and I didn't quite tap it down enough, which is again an interesting result, but not really what I was looking for. So I'm going to set that off to the side, and now I feel like the first one was too much, second was too little. This one's going to be just right. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to just put a little bit more pressure. You can see I'm kind of tapping it in a variety of directions so that I can get it more evenly onto the piece. Now when I lift it up, it's a little bit blurry for you to see, but you're going to see I get a lot clearer of an image. So you really have to play around with the pressure so that you don't end up with something that looks like this. We want it to look more like this and less like that big blob that you saw before. Now I have to wait for it to dry for about 24 hours before I introduce my lovely pastels. Now you can really use any chalk pastels that you'd like. You could also use watercolor. I'm picking a series of warm and cool colors to use with my work because I know warm and cool colors are opposite from each other, that it'll help push my figure forward and make them look more interesting. What's nice about using the pastel in the puffy paint is that the puffy paint acts as a nice barrier as well as giving it kind of an interesting texture and a sheen. So I'm laying down some different colors that I know are going to look really nice together because they're all a part of that warm color family, like orange and red and yellow. I'm doing that for inside of the figure to go along with my red outline, and then on the outside of the figure I'm going to use some cool colors like this purple. I'm going to use a couple different blues for it as well, and you'll notice that I'm using small pieces of the pastel on their side and then using my fingers to blend. If you don't want to get your fingers all dirty, you could also use tissue paper or a Q-tip to blend in with the pastel. And so I'm having the outer part of my figure a little bit darker, so it creates a shadow. It gives a sense of movement this way as well. And then I'm going to add in some lighter blue tones around my figure so that it fills in the space in a more interesting way and gives more of a sense of variety. Again, this is how I'm choosing to finish the work. You could really choose to do it however you'd like. If you wanted to add some additional details with puffy paint, for example, or if you wanted to maybe mix media and try some things with oil pastel and watercolor so that you can get a different sort of feel overall for your work, you could definitely do that. So really take this is a chance to experiment with some media in a different way, but for sure try to do it in your own way. This is how I chose to approach the figure, and I feel the end result makes it look like she's kind of moving across the page in an interesting way, and by using similar tones and colors in a variety of places, it gives it a little bit more harmony to the overall work. I hope you had an awesome time creating with me today. If you did use this and even change it to make it your own, please feel free to tag me on Instagram or Twitter at Campbell Art Soup, because I would love to see what you made. Happy creating!